Good morning, friends. Happy Thursday. Who's ready to make some granny squares? I'm ready to make some granny squares. I got some that are started still from yesterday, so we're going to start with those. I'm just using this variegated yarn. It's called Flocked Tree. Really pretty yarn. And I'm just kind of doing each square a little different color. But my plan to do with these granny squares is we're going to make a Christmas stocking. Hey, Shauna, good morning. Kristen, good morning. Welcome. Rainy upstate New York. It's still raining here too, Kristen. It's pretty glum. Hey, Kazi, good morning. So this is what we're making. We're making this little stocking. It takes 18 granny squares. I don't have that many yet. I'm doing 4 rows for my granny squares. You can also do them with just 3, and that'll give you a smaller version. But this is a beautiful pattern by MJ's Off the Hook Designs. You can find her over on YT. And anyhow, so we're going to finish making 18 squares. We probably won't get them all done today, but it's just a nice little project if you're looking for something in between. So that's what our plan is for this morning. Hey, Deborah, good morning. Crochet with Cindy, welcome in. Good morning, friend. How are you? Kelly was here. Kelly in Tennessee. It's still raining here, Kelly. I don't know what you all have up there, but it's still raining here. It's pretty glum this morning again. Hey, Pam, good morning. Veronica, welcome in. So we're going to have more granny squares. I'm only going to be on for an hour today, guys. And of course, next week with daylight savings time, same situation. We're going into 1 hour time zone for me. So I did have to kick on our heater, y'all. I was trying to hold out, but the house was 65 and I was freezing. I didn't want to get out of my blankies this morning. I tried really hard to keep it off, but I clicked it on. It was just too darn cold, you know? And I didn't want to have a flare up. My RA will flare up if I get too cold. So I went ahead and kicked on the heater. That's right. I did it. I did it, y'all. JT, good morning. Welcome. Jennifer G, thank you so much for the heart, me friend. Welcome in. I got this yarn tangled up. That's not a fun way to start the morning. Gives me a little challenge here on the live, right? Kristen said it was 20 the other night here. Oh, that's too cold, Kristen. I guess fall is just moving right on into winter. At least that's what it feels like. I don't know. What have I done here, y'all? I got a big old knot. Let's see if I can unknot here. Diesel's inside with me again today, guys. So right now he's sleeping on his couch. So hopefully he'll stay over there for a little bit. Happy early Halloween. I can't believe the month is over already. Hey, Brooke, good morning. Welcome in. Good morning, Susan. Lil Red, welcome in. Good morning. Susan says we turned on ours last weekend in Virginia. Yeah, it's when it gets cold like this. Oh, so cold, right? Um, Gen X, good morning. Welcome in. Red Lady is here. Good morning, Red Lady. How are you? Kaz, thank you so much for posting that over on YT. I appreciate you sharing the information. I'm working on granny squares for a stocking. I have to make 18 of these. We made some yesterday, and I'm just finishing up this last row of this one that we had left over from our yesterday project. So I'm just doing a traditional granny square, and then I'm going to sew them all together. And we're going to make little stockings like this. We'll see how ambitious I am. I would love to have one for me, one for Mr. Wheeler, one for Diesel, and one for Mo. So a total of 4. I do like this yarn. It's kind of vintage looking. It's called Flocked Tree. Don't say that 3 times too fast. Freeze in Oklahoma. Oh, Lou, bundled up, bundle up. Arlene said yesterday it was windy and cold. I know. So cold, right, y'all? Are we ready for this? It's Friday Eve. That's right, JT. That's JT's favorite picture of me, I think. Partying it up down in Mexico. 4 daughters, good morning. Welcome in. Leah is here. Leah, thank you so much for the Go Popular. Janine says, never ready for winter. I know. Hey, Mom, good morning. Friday Eve and vacation. Ooh, Kristen, lucky. Lucky, lucky. I don't get a vacation, but I am looking forward to the weekend. We had visitors last weekend. My brother and his wife were here. And I'll tell you, I'm looking forward to having a nice, relaxing weekend. So, Kayla said, today is my Friday. Lucky, lucky, lucky. Cheryl Lynn said, I'm ready for the cold. Cheryl Lynn, I think you might be the only one that's ready for the cold. I'm just guessing. Just guessing. The rest of us are like, oh, no cold, not yet. Karen, good morning. Susan, there is a video. The mods will share MJ's Off the Hook. There is a video over on her YT. There's also a pattern on her blog. But I am just making regular granny squares. The way that I do my granny squares, guys, is I put a granny cluster in between each. So 3 double crochets. And then I don't chain any before I move to the next space. So I finish my 3 here. I move to the corner and then I immediately do my 3 double crochets. Now, some people prefer to put a chain in there. There's no rules or regs on how to do that. So if you like to chain, go for it. I really do not. Hey, Rachel, good morning. 45 in Tennessee. That's already cold for me. It's cold for me too. I don't know what it is this morning. I guess it says 40. I can't read that far. Maybe 44, 45 outside. Yeah, it's pretty chilly here. Cheryl Lynn said, I live in Texas. I'm ready for less temps than in the high 90s. Well, that is true. It could cool off a little bit, right? 1 week from today, I'll be back at the beach. Ooh, red lady. Very lucky and hoping to find a megalodon tooth. How cool. I love that for you, red lady. Granny said it's 46 in Kentucky. That's cold. Jen said our bird cam says 49. Is that my bird cam that says 49? It sure feels a lot colder than 49 out there, I'll tell you. Oh, you found one last year. That is awesome. So I'm all the way back around now. I'm going to join with a slip stitch to my very first stitch. And I'm just going to slip stitch over to the corner. And then I'm going to weave in some tails here. Got this laundry done before the chaos. Nice, nice. Hey, Gen X girl is here. How was your trip? Oh my gosh, I've been following you on Book of Faces as you've been traveling across the country. I was so glad to see that you all made it. I hope you had a good trip and are getting all settled in. Kiana, good morning. Thank you so much for the follow. Welcome in, friend. We have a fabulous little group of crochet fiber friends here. If you are new to the channel, my name is April. Today we're making granny squares with the intent of making one of these little Christmas stockings. This is a pattern by MJ's Off the Hook. You can find her over on YT. There's a video of how to do this. She also has it on her blog. But I'm making 18 granny squares. So you have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. And then your toe, you fold in half. That's one. And then for the heel, you fold one in half. So that makes a total of 18. Now I'm doing 4 colors like she has in the large version. You could also do only 3 if you don't want to make such a large stocking. So you would just do your 3 rows. You can do it in solid. You can mix and match how I'm doing. However you would like to do that. They all work out beautiful. It's a thankful Thursday. Yes, it is. Friday Eve. Friday Eve. I think we're all ready for the weekend. Betty, good morning. Welcome in. 66 down in Florida. I love how we get all the weather reports all across the country with all of our fabulous friends. It's kind of exciting. It's kind of exciting to hear all the weather reports. It has been raining here since Sunday. My brother left Sunday morning, and it started in with the rain in and the howling wind. And I'll tell you, it has not let up. Yesterday, it let up for a little bit. There was a patch of sunshine. I counted it. It was like 8 minutes. There was 6 deer out in the pasture. They were enjoying the sunshine. And then the UPS man rolled in and scared off the deer. And within 8 minutes, it was back cloudy and then it was raining again. So It was like, "Wah, wah, wah, wah. I'm ready for some sunshine." I need to watch Ryan Hall and see what's on deck for us because I have, uh, not been paying attention. Annalisa said, "Italy. Wow, nice. I love the way you talk during your lives." Well, I do tend to ramble on a little bit, Annalisa. So, that's kind of the way it goes. But we're gonna have leftovers for supper tonight. Yesterday, I put a pot roast in the crock pot. We did. I put in taters. I put in some red taters and an onion. And why is this twisted up like this? Well, we're just gonna cut this off. This sparkle has me all wrapped up here. Um, so anyhow, I put some baby carrots, and Mr. Wheeler and I had that for supper, but it was a pretty big roast, so we're gonna have leftovers today. So I'm kind of excited not to have to cook today. Mama D, thank you so much for the follow, friend. Welcome in. If you are new to the channel, my name is April. I am live this morning both on TikTok and, as usual, over on YT. If you want to follow over there, my handle is Wheeler 8 Acres. Today we're working on some granny squares, just some basic squares. And we'll talk through some of these. I have some started, so I'm just trying to get these finished up. We just finished this one, and so I'm weaving in the tail now. And I'm trying to be good and not leave a bunch of tails because when you do this many color changes, as you all know, you can really make a lot of work for yourself. A lot of work. 59 in Cape Cod, romance reader. Wow, that's you're a little warmer than I am here. I think we're 49 here. But I had to kick on the heater this morning, y'all. It was 58, no, not 58, 65 in the house. I really like it to be at 68. 68 for me is tolerable. Anything less than that, I really just get so chilled. 45 in Arizona. Leash, wow. That can't be in Phoenix area. Are you up north? You don't have to say on the public internet, of course. But 45 seems chilly for Phoenix. I doubt it's that cold there. All right, one more tail to weave in here, guys. Um, Priscilla, thank you so much for sharing the live. Poppins Pantry. Oh, I love that handle. Welcome in. Oh, you're in South Arizona and it's that cold. Wow. Wowzers. I always think Tucson and Phoenix. Oh, my heater just kicked off. It must have got to 68 now. So that's good. Austin and B Snow, welcome in. Glad to have you here, friends. My name is April. Welcome in, everybody. We're working on granny squares today. I'm working on these to make a stocking. My friend Hannah, I don't know, I haven't seen Hannah yet this morning, but she mentioned to me that MJ's Off the Hook had this really cool stocking that you could make with granny squares. And so we were chit chatting, and she made one of these last year. And she said, "Hey, April, you should check out MJ's pattern. You might like it to make a stocking, at least for Ammo and Diesel. You could check out and make one for them." And so, anyhow, that's what I'm doing. But if I get real ambitious, we'll try to make a few, maybe make four of these. We'll see. I don't know. Sometimes I start on granny squares and then I pat her out. I move on to something else, so we'll see. Justin Gen X girl, thanks for being on. We're glad to have you. Glad you made it across country with your move. Um, Glad you were here this morning. Enjoy your weekend. Hope you get some rest. I'm sure you're exhausted. Uh, Traveling and moving across country is no joke. I did it, almost 5 years ago, and I feel every bit of that. We moved from Arizona all the way to Alabama, and it was the best move we ever did. But traveling across country, for those that have done it, it's no joke, I'll tell you. So let's add this little guy into our squares. We need 18 of these squares. You can see I only have this many left, but this are made so far. So I just am kind of alternating the colors, y'all. Cece, good morning. Welcome in. We do a lot of stitch talk here, B Snow. A lot of stitch talk. Today we're kind of when it gets cold like this, I find it hard to have the energy to do a lot of complicated stitches. But maybe next week we'll do some more complicated stuff. So, anyhow, we do a lot of stitch talk, and I'll talk through kind of these granny squares if people need to know how to do it. We can start another one from the beginning here. This is what I'm making, guys. I'm making a granny square stocking. This is a pattern by MJ's Off the Hook Design. I think her name is Michelle, if I'm not mistaken, but this is her. And you can make two different sizes. I'm making the jumbo size. You can also make the smaller one. So, if you want to make a smaller one, instead of doing 4 rows for your granny square, you would just do 3, your center and then 2 more, and that would give you a smaller size stocking. Um, uh, Driving from Arizona to Alabama doesn't seem bad until you're on day 3 or day 4 of driving. I know, right, JT? It catches up with you. I'm fortunate. Mr. Wheeler did a lot of the driving, but when we moved here, um, it was one of those things. Let's work on one of these that I have going here. We have this little center started. How about if we put, let's see if I have enough green here to make it around this one. I don't know if I do, but let's try it. Um, so for those that don't know my moving story, I'll tell you all. So this was back in 2020 when we decided to move from Arizona. Both my husband and I were Arizona natives. We had been there our whole lives, and I turned 50 this year. We're not spring chickens by any means. Hey, Queen 530, good morning. But we came, my little niece, who's not little anymore, she's an adult with a child, but um, she moved over here to Alabama. She met a boy online and did the whole family meet and greet and everything. And eventually she ended up moving and they got married and have a child. But she kept posting really beautiful pictures of family outings here in Alabama. And my husband and I were looking to make a change and, move out of the Phoenix metro area into kind of more of a country kind of feel and environment. So we looked around Arizona. I'm originally from Prescott, Arizona. But for those that know Arizona, Prescott has become rather expensive. The mods will pin the yarn there. Gen X just shared. It's called Flocked Tree is the colorway that I'm using. Flocked Tree. And so anyhow, Prescott has just gotten really expensive. And we looked all over. We had some family that lived up in Heber Overguard area. And I don't know, nothing really was like popping off and thinking, hey, we should move or make this change, right? So we started looking outside of Arizona and I kept seeing all my niece's beautiful pictures. And I was like, where did she move to? Look, I don't have enough, y'all. I'm going to have to wait and finish this one later. We'll just pause him. That's all right. I make these and then I'll come back and fill in the missing yarn here. Okay. So let's try this one now. I'm ready with this green. Let's try this green. And um anyhow, I found out that she moved to a town called Rainsville, Alabama. It's in northeast Alabama. It's about 50 minutes south of Chattanooga. Hey, Amazing Grace, welcome in. 49 degrees here. Brr. And then I started doing more research, and I've always been kind of a fisherman. A lot of you know that about me. I love fishing. And when I put two and two together of where my niece moved to, I realized she moved about 20 minutes outside of Lake Guntersville in Alabama. Now, if anybody is a fisherman or if your husband's a fisherman, you most likely have heard of Lake Guntersville because it's like a bass fishing destination lake. They do a lot of tournaments. And I grew up watching the bass circuit on TV, and that's one of the lakes they came to all the time. So it was like, wait, she moved that close to Lake Guntersville? How cool is that? So I started doing more research about the area and, the safety and all that kind of stuff. And I asked Mr. Wheeler, I said, hey, do you want to do a road trip? Let's go visit Amber and check out where she's living at. That's our little niece. And so anyhow, he said, yeah, I'm down for that. It was 2020. It was in the middle of the vid, guys. And we rented a car And we drove cross country over here to Alabama. And within 5 minutes of being here, my husband turned to me. We were getting some breakfast the morning that we had arrived. And he turned to me as we were waiting for our food and he said, "So when are we moving?" And I looked back at him and I said, "Are you serious?" And he said, "I am serious." And I said, "I am too. We should move here." So at that point, we kind of were like, "Let's do it. We've got nothing to lose. It's in the middle of the vid." Everything, I was already working remote. My husband's a truck driver. He has a CDL. And it was like, let's move across the country. Now, I hadn't told my family, I hadn't told Mama Wheeler or anything yet, but we cut our trip short and we went back to Arizona and we started packing up our house to put it on the market. Now, mind you, we didn't have a place to live in Arizona or in Alabama. I had been looking at some properties and there was some that I really liked, but we hadn't made any like official offers or anything. This yarn is called Flocked Tree. The mods will pin where I got this yarn. It's called Flocked Tree. It's a variegated yarn. I'm controlling the colors on it, Paloma. Hey, Kate. Good morning. Yes, I'm making a stocking this morning, guys. I'm making granny square. So we're having kind of a relaxed Thursday doing a little talking. What prompted me to talk about my move is our friend Gen X moved from Arizona way up north, and she just made the trip over the weekend. But this pattern is by MJ's Off the Hook Design. You need 18 of these granny squares. You can make a big size or a small size. So that's what I'm doing. So, anyhow, we went home and started packing up our house, and we were going to put stuff into storage until we could figure out, our move plans kind of thing. And where'd my scissors go? Here they are. And then we put the house on the market. Now, the market was good in Arizona at the time that we were moving. Everything hadn't like bottomed out. And our house sold the first day. Yes, the mods will pin it, Todd, but it is by MJ's Off the Hook design. It's no charge pattern. We're doing 18 of these granny squares. It's a really pretty, we'll come back and do the ribbing once I get all the squares. Bonjour, Hannah. My friend Hannah is the one that told me about this pattern. And there she is. So, anyhow, the house sold the first day, and we're like, well, SHI, you know what do we do now? Right? Like, I guess we'll go back to Alabama and find a place to live. So, I had made an offer on a house, the house that we're in, but there was already a previous pending offer on the property that we're at now. And I had been in contact with the realtor, and I said, does the folks that are selling it, do they know how serious we are about, buying the house? And at that point I hadn't made an offer, and she goes, "Well, they know you're serious." And I said, "Well, can we make it more serious? Can we put in a backup offer? Like, work with me, realtor?" And she said, "Oh, do you want to put in a backup offer?" And I said, "Yeah, if that one falls through, we really want this house." So at that point, while in Arizona, sight unseen, I hadn't been to this property and seen it, but we put in a backup offer, and then we car carriered our cars back across the country, and then we got another rental and drove. So we drove back to Alabama. At that point, once we got here, we were able to come and see the house, loved it even more, loved the property. So that is where my handle comes from, guys. The 8 acres. We ended up getting the property, but it was originally the backup offer. The original offer fell through. They accepted our backup offer, and then we had to wait for the house to close. In the meantime, all of our stuff is in storage in Arizona. Okay. Um, Mr. Wheeler and I, we lived at the Super 8 here in town for 45 days while we waited for the house to close. Once it was getting close to closing, and the realtor said, "I think it's going to go through. You're all good. All the things, right?" She said, "I think it's going to close on this date." And when it was about a week out of closing date, Mr. Wheeler got his big old truck and he drove back to Arizona to get all of our stuff. he ended up making 2 different trips. Now, the first one he brought back our car hauler, and it at that time we had a Razor and a Harley, and he brought a bunch of like bedding and boxes and all that kind of stuff. So kind of the essentials, right? I know the Razor wasn't essential, but you know what I mean. So he drove out there, hooked up a rig, and then drove back to Alabama, unloaded that trailer. Then he got back in his rig, drove back to Arizona, and yes, he brought the beds with him, Holly. That was one of the first things he brought. In the meantime, the folks that we bought it from, they had a bed in the spare room, and they said, "Hey, we're just gonna get rid of this." They knew our situation, and they said, "Do you want us to leave the bed?" And I said, "Oh, that'd be great." So I was here in the house waiting for him, and I was staying in their bed that they had left behind. So it all worked out. Anyhow, he drove back again, and then he brought the 50-foot, 3-foot trailer with the rest of our stuff out of storage. And I worked the entire time because I still work in Arizona. I work remote. And then once he got everything moved, it was cheaper for him to move us than to hire a moving company because he has a CDL and everything. So, anyhow, that's how we ended up with our little place here, and we absolutely love it. If you want to see some of our property over on YT, I live stream our bird feeders. I live stream the deer camera. The deer come in pretty much every day. There's times where they don't come in. They're wild deer, but they'll come into the pasture, and you can see that over on the YT channel. Kimberly, we purchased a truck while he was moving us, and then, we sold that truck. So we owned the truck and then just turned around and sold it. And, he drives for an outfit here in town. It's an outfit y'all may have heard of. He works for Caterpillar, and he works for the Alabama Caterpillar here. But my husband, by trade, he doesn't do over the road trucking. He does heavy haul. So when people need a track hoe, backhoe, all the heavy duty equipment, that is what he does. He did the same thing in Arizona. He worked for Maricopa County, and he worked for the Department of Transportation, and he hauled around all of their gear to the job sites and then would pick it up and stuff. So that's what Mr. Wheeler does. He's a truck driver, but he's here every night, which I love. That's what we wanted. We don't want a over the road situation. But there's a lot of people that do that, and it's a great way to make a living. But I like having him around. So that's how we ended up here in Alabama. He loves his job with Caterpillar. It's a great job. They've been very good to him, and of course, he is good right back to them. So it's been kind of a dream come true for us. Yes, he does all the wide load construction stuff. All those big rigs. He has what's called a low boy. Gen X knows. He has a low boy, but it's a company owned truck and trailer, and he that's what he does all day. He hauls around equipment to job sites, and then um, goes and picks it back up. So that's how he does his career, and he's done that. He's been a truck driver for years and years and years. He drove for a long time. He was it's called a hook, but basically it's like a wrecker. He did that for a long time over in California when they lived there. Him and his ex-wife. Um, he It wasn't like a small wrecker, like if your car broke down, you'd call a flatbed to come pick it up. He did a heavy haul hook. So basically, if a 18-wheeler broke down, he would go and pick it up. Or if there was an accident that needed cleared by the highway patrol and they needed big rigs towed, he did that. He did that heavy haul hook for years. And then in Arizona, he worked for Maricopa County doing all the heavy haul equipment there. So, yeah, it's been a good career for him. He really enjoys it. And I love the fact that he's home every day with us, with me and the boys. And speaking of the boys, they're being really good, y'all. The diesel monster is over on the couch asleep, y'all. He hasn't tried to even jump up here on me. Does he drive the Final Destination log trucks? No, he doesn't. Hannah, when he first came here, he did go to work for a logging company, and he did do logging trucks for a while, but that's not really like his specialty or dream is to do logging trucks. He really prefers it's kind of a kind of a niche that he does. It's kind of specialized. In order to move a lot of those heavy haul, those big pieces of equipment, you have to be certified to operate them. And he is certified on all those. So if they need an asphalt paver, all the, a track hoe, backhoe, all those big pieces of equipment. Mr. Wheeler is certified to operate all of those machines in addition to being um, having his CDL truck driver license. So yeah, it's kind of specialized what he does and that he has all those certifications as well. So he can drive like dump trucks and for a while he worked at a cement company in Arizona and he hauled cement. So he's done a variety of trucking type things in his life, but his real specialty is working for Caterpillar. So Trucker's wife here. Nice, nice, nice. Hauls flatbread precast concrete for bridges and cement walls. Oh, those are huge. When Jay, those are big things. Yeah, you get it. We have a lot of men here, the men folk that are in the that type of industry. I think it's pretty common, you know. Gen X is in the trucking industry as well. She does it in the office. Um, Dog Mama says my husband's a heavy equipment operator. Nice, nice. It's a good job to be in. It's very reliable. The thing he didn't like about he worked for another company here. It was more construction based. But the problem with working with that is that job sites would get rained out and then his hours weren't consistent. So a lot of times if you're like a heavy equipment operator, like let's say you drive one of those big mining trucks, right? If they close the job site, then you have to go home, you're out of work. And with the amount of rain that we get here, he found that he was home at least 1 or 2 days a week. It was hard to make a consistent living. With the place he's at now, rain or shine, it doesn't matter. They're still moving equipment around. So that part is nice. Jen says, I can't get away from all things trucks. I know, right? Jen's probably like, all right, Wheeler, enough about the trucking. Boy, how this live has taken a turn today, right? Jennifer G said, my husband and I are both in transportation. Nice. Deborah, welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow. Guys, today we're making granny squares. We're doing a little chit chat, having a nice, relaxing Thursday. I'm just working on just traditional granny squares. I'm going to make these into a stocking, but we're just kind of visiting and chit chatting as we have our coffee. Boy, is it cold. Happy birthday, Debbie. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Hope you have a great birthday. Love when we have a birthday in the house. Hey, Stephanie, good morning. Welcome in. Boss Mama, thank you so much for the follow. I love a boss mama in the house. I think we've got a lot of boss mamas here if I'm being honest, right? Welcome in, guys. If you are new, my name is April. Left Fish says my husband hauls limestone and we're running into that same issue. Site sets down all the time. Right? That is so hard. That is so hard when the job sites shut down, any kind of construction. And we get a lot of rain. Now, our town that I live in, guys, is called Rainsville here in Alabama, but it was not named for all of the rain. It was actually a man's name that was named for. Mama Wheeler knows more. She knows all the history of the little area we're in, but it is Rainsville, and it has been raining since Sunday. As a lot of you guys know and are getting rain as well. And boy, was it cold this morning. The house dropped down to 65. I had to kick on the heater. How about that? But I'm making 18 of these granny squares. This yarn I'm using this morning is called Flocked Tree. The mods will pin where you can get this yarn if you're interested. It's a variegated yarn. It comes like this. We've used a lot out of the skein. But anyhow, I'm controlling the colors on this. And I'm just weaving in the tails. I'm trying to be disciplined as we're finishing these squares, because when you change colors a lot like this, what happens is you end up with a grip of tails to weave in at the end, and then you're going to be kicking yourself. So I've been trying to be good and weave them in. I've got one more here, and then we can start another square. We let our heat go down to 60 at night. Oh, Candy Joe, that is so cold. For me, what happens is if it gets much below 65, um, I have rheumatoid arthritis, guys, and it'll cause me to flare because of the cold. So anybody that has autoimmune disease will understand that cold sometimes can cause a flare up. So I try to keep it anything below 65 is when that will happen. So because of that, I try to keep the house at a certain level. But I thought, boy, is it early to be turning on the heater, right? Isn't Halloween tomorrow? Is Halloween Friday? I'm thinking it's tomorrow, and it sure feels cold. Leah said, there you go. Leah has autoimmune. She said currently in flare mode. A lot of us have that will happen. And for me, cold is a big culprit, a big, big culprit. Okay. So another square finish. Let's add him. I kind of like this one. It's pretty, right? I'm digging it. So these are all the ones that we have made so far. Let's flip through them. You guys can kind of see them. Yeah, cold and damp. Exactly. So I don't even know how many we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 8 more to go, y'all. Hey, Grace. Good morning. Sweet Grace is here. Both Graces in the house. Nice, nice. Victoria said, I found you from Maggie's live. Nice. Oh, that's right, Victoria. That's exactly what I have. So I have markers of lupus. I have markers of rheumatoid arthritis. My official diagnosis is undifferentiated connective tissue disorder. So we're making these granny squares, and I'm just randomly putting the colors through. I'm using a variegated yarn, so you can see all the squares are kind of different. It kind of feels like rustic, vintage, kind of Christmas colors. Hey, Shan, good morning. But what I'm making with these squares is I am making this stocking right here. Now, there's 2 different versions. This is a pattern from MJ's Off the Hook Designs. And this is MJ herself. I think her name is Michelle, if I'm not mistaken. But you need a total of 18 of these granny squares. So you need 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Then your little toe is 1 square folded in half. That's 17. And for the heel, you need 1 folded in half. That's 18. Now, she has 2 different sizes here. I'm making the larger size. You can also make a smaller version. I'm doing the one that has 4 rows. This one, that's the solid color, she did only 3 rows. So when you look at your granny square, if you wanted to make a smaller version, you would do your center plus 2 more rows and then skip that outside row. She does have a lot of really cute designs, Leash. Absolutely. She's one of my favorites over on YT. But her handle is called MJ, like Michael Jackson, Off the Hook Design. MJ's Off the Hook Design. Okay, so let's start another little square here. I'm going to start with a magic ring to do this. Now, you also could do a chain of 3 or 4 for your center. Either way works totally fine. Lindsay, thank you so much for the follow. Appreciate you being here, my friend. Welcome in. Guys, if you are new to the channel, my name is April. Katie said, oh, where'd Katie go? Oh, it scrolled past and I missed it. Dang it. I missed Katie's comment. I think Katie said she's making some granny squares. Katie said, I'm awful at the magic ring. Well, Katie, I watched like 500 videos of how to make a magic ring. And I watched over and over, and nothing was clicking. Nothing made sense. So I kind of do my own little rebel version of a magic ring. And I'm going to show you guys how I do that right now. So I start with my yarn in my hand. And what I do is I yarn over and I bring down a loop and I crisscross it and I hold it between my middle finger and my thumb. So I have a little crisscross here and I just kind of secure that. Okay. Now what I do is I'm going to put a standing double crochet into this magic ring right here. So I don't work through the magic ring. I actually work on this yarn up here that I'm holding, and I wrap it around twice. I then bring my hook down and I go through the magic ring, and I go under the magic ring and under the tail, and I pull up a loop. So I have 3 loops on my hook. Then I yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So I've made a standing double inside my magic ring. And that's literally how I make it. I don't do any of the wrap across the hand and flip it back and forth. I don't do any of that. Leah, thank you so much for the October. I appreciate that. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in. This is Holiday Sparkle Yarn. Jen has it pinned there for you all. Then I follow with 2 more double crochets, and then I do a chain or a chain 2 here. And I'm going to continue working granny clusters into this magic ring. Now, very important, as you're working, you also want to work over your tail here. So you wrap your yarn around, and I'll go under both those loops as I'm working. So yarn over, we need 3 more double crochets. We can do another magic ring here if for those that are interested in how I do it. There is a tutorial on my TikTok. If you look, there's one of how I do it. Golf Widow. Hey, Golf Widow, I welcome in. I've been trying to get a hold of you for the last month, my friend. She's like, uh-oh, what did I do? Golf Widow, see how she's got the little VIP there with the swirl? She is a super fan, and every month we have a little celebration party for the super fans. Golf Widow, you were the big winner last month, and I DM'd you. But you need to get back in contact with your email address so I can send your little prize your way. Thank you for being a supporter of the channel. Very, very cool. So we're going to do the celebration for what month are we in? October. I will do that probably on the 1st by video. And again, this month it's going to be 50 duckaroonies in the form of a GC from the Zon. Okay. I can't say all that. I have to talk in code. So anyhow, yeah. Yes, yes, ma'am. You are it. How about that? Congratulations, Golf Widow, for being the big celebration winner. Very exciting. So when I do the celebration, guys, it includes if you're a subscriber on TikTok, if you are a super fan on TikTok, and we also have members over on YT. So there's 3 ways to support and follow if you wish. Now, again, no pressure to do that, y'all. All I ask, show up, have fun, have your coffee, do some crochet chat, hang out with us. That's all you need to do to support. And if for those that do want to support a little extra, there's always those options. And you can do that either here on TikTok or you can do that on YT as well. My handle on YT, guys, is Wheeler 8 Acres. Same thing. Okay, so we finished our little center. Let's weave in our tail and get this one ready. And we will make another center because I think other people wanted to see how to do the magic ring, how April does her magic ring. It's a little different than other people's. Ren said, I keep waking up too late. That's all right, Ren. We're glad you're here. Happy Thursday. It's Friday Eve, y'all. Tomorrow is Halloween. Is anybody dressing up for Halloween? Or do you have kiddos that are dressing up for Halloween? What are y'all doing? Did you get candy to hand out if you have trick or treaters come by? We're very remote. We will not have any trick or treaters tomorrow. Most of them, we're very spread out in the area that I live in. And so a lot of them will do the trunk or treat type situation at the churches or at the school, something like that is kind of more popular. But yeah, I don't even get candy anymore because nobody comes. So, and that's okay. I totally get it. Kristen says we get candy, but no one ever comes to our house. Yeah, that's our situation because we're kind of remote. We're kind of there's not a whole lot of there's houses around us, but they're mostly retired folks that don't have kids. So we don't get a lot of traffic. Going to add old to an old people party as a butterfly. Well, there's my mom chiming in with her Halloween costume. My mom's always festive. Is Josh or is my brother still there, Mom? Or did they get back on the road? My brother is currently visiting my mom down in Florida, y'all. He was here visiting me for a few days and then went down to see her. Um, Jen gets 150 to 200 kids. Wow, that's a lot of kids. Leah said, "The kids are going to be skeletons, and I'll be a tired mom." Right, Leah? That's cute. All right, let's do another center here for those that want to see how to make a magic ring. Gail says we do Boo at the Zoo. Nice. Yeah, we're kind of a jolly family, Charlotte. We're kind of a jolly family. You could say that. My mom comes and hangs out because she thinks I'm a cool person. She's the one that birthed and raised me, so she's like my biggest fan. But we're lucky to have my mom here in the mornings hanging out with us. We get candy and the hubby eats it, right? That's how mine would be too. uh, Lindsay said, "My daughter is Rey from Star Wars." Nice. Katha said, "Kiddo is going to be a Star Witch and mom will be a scarecrow." Awesome. I love hearing everybody's costumes. That was always my favorite part is when you would hand out the candy and then you get to see all the kids and stuff. Oh, my brother's still there. Nice. Very fun. Cameron is a mermaid this year. Oh, very cool. I love that. I bet she's going to have lots of sparkles. Very, very awesome. Okay. So let's make another granny square. We're going to start in the middle and I'm going to do a magic ring. And this is the April style magic ring, y'all. So it's a little different than probably what you have seen. I make my magic ring kind of how I do my slip knot. I bring down a loop and I crisscross it and I hold that loop between my middle finger and my thumb. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a standing double crochet inside this magic ring. And the way that I do that, I don't go through the ring itself. I work up above and I wrap my yarn around twice. Then I bring my hook down and I go through the magic ring and also under the tail and I pull up a loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook. Then I yarn over and pull through 2 and yarn over and pull through 2. And then we have our standing double crochet into our magic ring. Now I'm going to continue working my double crochets all the way around the ring. We're going to do 4 granny clusters. A granny cluster is 3 double crochets. And as we do this, I'm going to work around the tail as well, tucking it in. Debbie said it was really easy. It was easy. So let's do it one more time. All right. Just for those that are hopping on. So again, this is how I make my magic ring. Give yourself a long tail. I wrap my yarn around and I pull down a loop so that it's crisscrossed and the ring kind of points off to the right. I hold it between my middle finger and my thumb. Now I'm going to work a standing double into the magic ring. So I come not through the hole, I come up here to my other yarn and I wrap around twice. I bring my hook down and I slide under that magic ring and the tail and I pull up a loop. So now we have 3 loops on our hook, just like a double. Yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. I kind of give it a little tug to tighten it up. And there is our double crochet. Now I need 2 more of these. Now again, work over your top of your tail around the ring as you're doing this. And then chain 2. So there are times you don't do a standing double in the ring. Sometimes I do a half double, sometimes I do a single crochet. It just depends on what the pattern calls for. Right now we're making granny squares, so I do a standing double. But if it called for a single crochet, I would do a single crochet in the magic ring. Or if it called for half double, I would do a half double into the magic ring, but I execute it the exact same way. Mary Ellen, thank you so much for sharing the live. appreciate that. Welcome in, everybody. If you're new to the channel, my name is April. We're having a nice, relaxed Thursday, Friday Eve. Let the party begin. We're so much closer to the weekend. I'm ready. And we're just working we're just working on granny squares today, guys. We're going to use these to make a stocking. So probably next week we'll maybe do with a ribbing if I get the rest of the squares done over the weekend. So I finished my last 3 double crochets. Now I chain 2, join with a slip stitch to the very first stitch, and then I'm going to snip off and tighten up this stitch. Pom Pom, thank you so much for the follow. EM Cool, welcome in. Thank you for the follow, friend. Glad to have you all here. Again, if you are new, my name is April, and I'm a hobby crocheter. I come live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central. We are live this morning both on TikTok and on YT. We have people watching in both places. You can always go back and rewatch the replays over on my YT. My handle is Wheeler8Acres. And we do a lot of stitch talk here, where we kind of talk through how to do stitches, different patterns, and whatnot. I do a lot of baby blankets for donation. I do a lot of wheelchair blankets for donation. I make hats for donation. I don't sell any of my stuff. It's all pretty much for donation. And so I just enjoy crocheting. I live in Northeast Alabama. We moved here from Arizona about 5 years ago. In December, it'll be 5 years. So coming up on an anniversary. And I work remote in Arizona. So that gives me time in the mornings to come on live and just crochet and hang out with y'all and do all the crocheting type stuff. So I absolutely love it. I love hanging out. I have been crocheting for 40 years. I'm not an expert by any means, friends. I learn new things every day. I'm learning right along with you. When I learn something cool, I like to come and talk about it and share. We did corner to corner a couple weeks ago. That was a new one for me. One of the new things I want to learn, my friend JT was mentioning, and Maggie does this. It's called the blanket stitch. I've never done the blanket stitch, so that's on my to-do list. I would like to do that. So hopefully soon I'll be learning that one, and then we can do some talking about that. So let's do another round here of some of these squares that I've got started and get this going. Let me get rid of these little tails I don't need. The yarn that I'm working with today is it's called a holiday sparkle yarn. The mods will pin where it is, but it is this beautiful green and beige and white. Now it has this darker blue color in it. I'm taking that out and not using that. But it's a really pretty yarn. And we're just making granny squares. So this is the ring that we have of the ones that we finished. I'm doing 4 rows of my granny squares, and we're just mix and matching the colors. But we're going to take these and make them into a stocking. And the pattern that I'm going to use for that is from MJ's Off the Hook Designs. And it's going to look like this. Okay. So we'll come back, we'll do the ribbing once I get the squares sewed together. Don't worry. When we sew together the squares, I'll do that on the live so you can see um, all of those, okay, how we're going to assemble it. But basically, in order to make this stocking, you have 18 granny squares, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. The toe is 1 folded in half is 17, and the heel is 1 folded in half, and that is 18. Now you can see MJ's holding up 2 different size stockings. This one is a little smaller that she did in a solid color. It's a little hard to see on the printout, but basically what she did for the smaller stocking, instead of doing 4 rows, she did only 3 rows. So she did 1, 2, 3, and then stopped and didn't do the outside, and that will do a smaller square. So eventually we'll sew these all together. We'll do that ribbing at the top. I've never made one of these before, but we're just giving it a whirl and seeing how it works out. I have done the virus stitch, Deborah. You can watch replays of that over on my YT. I've done a couple virus blankets, and you can see those. Guys, when you're on my YT looking to find videos, there's a category that says shorts, there's a category that says live, and there's a category that says videos. You are looking for the category that says live because we're live this morning on YT, you'll be watching a replay. Now, guys, I do work full time, so I don't have a lot of time to make like clinical tutorials, but because we do a lot of stitch talk and patterns, people like to go back and rewatch if they have to hop off and go to work, get the kids to school, all the things, right? So check that out over on my YT under the live tab. And it's Wheeler 8 Acres. This is a free pattern by MJ. I also have a video and the pattern, and the mods can tell you where to find those, but they're in my bio on TikTok. If you click up here in the little dog, double click and that'll get you to my page on TikTok, and that'll take you to where you can find the yarn and patterns that I'm using. So anyhow, check that out if you're interested in making this. We're going to work on this a few more days though, but this is a pattern by MJ's Off the Hook Design. Now, as I do my granny squares, guys, in the corners, we're doing 3 double crochets, then we're chaining 2, and then 3 double crochets right into that same corner space. Now, as I move to the next corner here, I don't do any chaining or anything. Some people like to do a chain. That's totally fine if you have a preference to do that. But what I do is I just hop directly over to the next corner space, and then I do 3 double crochets. This stocking is not lined, but you certainly could do that if you wished. Chain 2. You can scoot these stitches over if you don't have enough room there in your corner, and then do 3 more double crochets. Hey, Sparky, good morning. Welcome in. Yeah, you could totally line this stocking if you wished. Okay, so there's our next. We have one more corner here. So again, I'm not going to chain. I'm just going to hop over to the next space, and then we're going to do 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets right back into that space. Now I've finished with these stitches, so I'm going to join with a slip stitch to the very first stitch. And the way my grandma taught me to make granny squares, she said you always work in the corners. And so what I will do, you can see I'm not in the corner. I'm going to slip stitch and get myself over here to the corner. The reason that she said to do that is when you go to weave in your tails, what will happen is you'll have a better place to cover up that tail. Hey, little sunshine, good morning. Tony Ann, good morning. Welcome in, friend. How are you? Okay, so there's our little square. So if you work your tail into the corner, what you can do is you'll have the option to weave in back and forth here under this corner rather than having it out here in the middle. So that's how my granny taught me to do it. My grams, I should say. That's what we called her, grams and gramps. Sarima, thank you so much for the follow, friend. Welcome in. Guys, if you are new to the channel, my name is April, and I am a hobby crocheter. I come live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central Time. Now, don't forget, y'all, for those that go on daylight savings time, which I do here in Alabama, we have to, what do? We roll back the clock. So what that means is normally I come on and crochet for 2 hours, guys, because I don't have to be at work until 10 Arizona time. Arizona is one of the states, there's very few, that do not do daylight savings time. So what that means for my work is I will go from having 2 hour difference before I have to go to work to 1 hour difference. So instead of going to work at 10 o'clock Alabama time, I have to go to work at 9 o'clock Alabama time. So basically, with daylight savings time, instead of having 2 hours, we're only going to have 1 hour every day on the live. But that's all right. We can get a lot done in an hour. And who knows, after an hour of April rambling, you might be like, yeah, we could use a break anyhow. It's all right. You can say it. You can say it. I know. Lupe, good morning. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the follow. Veronica, thank you for sharing the live. Sam, thank you for sharing the live. Uh, yes, we fall back 1 hour. Arlene knows. Don't we gain an hour? Uh, I end up losing an hour is all I know, because Arizona doesn't do anything with their time. So essentially, instead of going to work at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock Alabama time, I have to go to work at 9 o'clock Alabama, Arizona time. So I lose, for me personally, I lose an hour on the live. Hannah says we gain an hour of sleep. That's right. It's all how you look at it, right? Is the glass half empty or half full kind of thing? It'll be fine. Having an hour on the live is plenty of time to be able to talk patterns and all that stuff. Fall back, spring ahead. There you go. Miss Marla said it right. Hey, Mandy. Good morning. Welcome in, everybody. I'm weaving in the tails. I'm trying to be a good girl and weave in my ends because we are changing colors for every round. If I don't do this, y'all, I'm going to have so many ends to weave in. So I'm trying my best to be disciplined and do the right thing by weaving in my tails. So far, so good. All of these have the tails woven in, so I've been pretty good. This is a really pretty sparkly yarn, Lady P. Really pretty. The mods will pin where you can get this yarn, but it's called Holiday Sparkle. And some of the sparkle yarns that I have used, the sparkle in it is very thick and the metallic almost becomes rough as I'm, crocheting with it over my finger. This particular yarn is a really soft sparkle. So it has enough to give it that little zing that I'm looking for, but it's not super rough on my hands. I really like this yarn. I have it in lots of different colorways. But it's just an absolutely beautiful yarn. Jen will pin where you can get this yarn if you're interested in it. They have blues if you're interested in making like snow colors. I've made some of those. Let me see if I could show you. Here's some other squares that I've done. This is in a different colorway, but the same type of yarn with the blue. I'm going to be doing something with these eventually too. I have a whole bunch of these. I'm making a blanket. So we'll work on these on the live. I still haven't done that. Maybe next week we'll work on these. This particular square is called the English Rose Square, which we've made a bunch of times. I also have these squares going, and I need to work on this. This is the uh Sunburst Granny Square. They're just not finished. So we have that. That's another blanket that I'm working on. This yarn is Red Heart yarn. Here's another colorway that they have. This is a Halloween sparkle. You can also get it from the same place that I got the green from. It's a little past Halloween at this point because Halloween's tomorrow. I didn't get my stuff done in time, but that's all right. There's always next year, right? There's always next year. So lots of possibilities with the yarn. They have a lot of really pretty colorways. I'm in the middle of making a blanket, but how do you keep all your pieces together? I use these little, uh, these are wonderful. I've had these for years, but these are called knit stitch holders. And you can find them on the Zon. They come in different sizes, and I just will clip all my granny squares to keep them organized. And then once I sew them together, I just reuse these clips. So I have lots of these clips full of granny squares all over my house, literally. But they're a great way. They're just like a big diaper pin almost, where you can just unclip it. So it's a great little tool to have. All right, so let's pull out this white here and see if we can get to another color. Um, to maybe do a little something different than white. Okay, here's some beige color. So, guys, I'm controlling these colors as they come off the skein. Okay, so when you look at this yarn, it's a variegated yarn. Oh, shoot, puzzle piece. I almost missed it, y'all. Okay. Um, it comes off the skein like this. Now, I'm controlling the colors on this. Um, Lady P, they're going to pin where you can get the yarn. Uh, It's I get flagged if I say it. So follow the comments that are here in the chat. They'll tell you. It's pinned right here for you where you can get this. But it's called Worsted Sparkle, and it's in the colorway Flocked Tree. Flocked Tree is the one that I'm using. but they have lots of different colorways. Okay, so we're going to add our next round to this brownie square. So what I do is I will pick any corner to start in. Now, some people like to start on the sides. I've always been one that works in the corners. And I start with a slip knot on my hook. And we're going to do one more round of this square, guys, and then I'm going to hop off of the live, okay? So I start with a slip knot. Now, what I like to do is I like to do a standing double in the corner. You also could do a chain of 3 here. You could do a stacked single. What I like to do is it's called a standing double crochet. So I put my slip knot and then I secure my tail between my pointer finger and my thumb. I wrap my yarn around once so we have 2 loops on our hook. Now, it's very important that you keep hold of this tail because if you don't, what'll happen is your yarn will spin and you'll be back down to 1 loop on the hook. Okay, so wrap our yarn around, then I go down into that space. Now, my hand is at a weird angle here and I have to be able to hold my hook. So I twist my hand forward and I hold this tail now with Mr. Thumb over here. It's his job to hang on to this. Again, if he lets go, what'll happen is one of those loops will spin off and we won't have enough loops to do our double crochet. So then I pull up a loop. So we have 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So that is a standing double crochet for my first stitch. Now I go back and I add 2 more double crochets. We need a granny cluster here in the corner. Chain 2, slide your stitches over if you need to make room. We're going to put 3 more double crochets right back down into that corner. So that's their corner all the way around, 3 doubles, chain 2, 3 doubles. Now, some people like to do a chain as they move to the next space here. I don't do any chains. I just am going to go right into this space and I'm going to work 3 double crochets, another granny cluster. If you are in the habit of doing a chain, feel free. There's no rules in crochet. Rebel on, friends, rebel on. Whatever you like to do is totally fine. Now we're going to hop directly into the corner here and we're going to do our 3 double crochets. I'm going to try to work over this tail and get him kind of hidden in there. We'll come back and weave him in and then we're going to do our chain 2. Slide your stitches over if you need to. And then we're going to put 3 more double crochets right back down into that corner space. Okay, now we're going to hop over to the next space here with 3 double crochets. Diesel's in his house sleeping, y'all. He's been such a good boy today. We haven't had any interruptions. Can you believe that? Now in the corner, we're going to do 3 double crochets. Oh, y'all, I have to show you him. Hang on. TikTok friends, I'm going to move my phone. There's me crocheting on YT. Can you see him in his house? He's upside down. He's got his feet up in the air. That's our boy. He's got his toys out there. There's his duck. He brought his duck out of the pond. Look at him upside down, though. Isn't he cute? That's my boy. That's my boy. He's doing so good today, y'all. Aw. He's so comfy, right? Oh, it's so cute. He's so cute. Now I have to get my phone reset back up. Sorry, y'all. Michelle says my rot sleeps like that too. Yeah, he loves to put his feet in the air. He's so cute. I love him. Let me lift this back up. He's a good boy. He's a good boy today. Hopefully, as we move more towards winter, he'll continue to be a good boy. I found a Roddy keychain. Oh, Kayla, that is precious. That's a good memory. Shadow jumped on my head today. I'm so jealous. Shadow is Hannah's misbehaving cat, for those that don't know. Grambo, I love that name. Thank you for being here. Welcome in. Quality Crochet Corner. Welcome in, friend. Nice to have you. Thank you so much for the follows. Guys, if you are new to the channel, my name is April, and I'm a hobby crocheter. I come on live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday mornings at 7:30 Central. This morning, we're just doing some granny squares. I'm going to finish this square, and then I'm going to hop off so I can get ready for work, y'all. Starting next week, we're going to be live still at 7:30 in the morning, but my lives will only be an hour instead of 2 hours because of daylight savings time. I do work in Arizona, so it does affect my work schedule. But the nice thing is, right now, when I get off of work, it's 7 o'clock in Alabama. After daylight savings time, when I get off work, it'll be 5 in Arizona, but it'll be 6 o'clock here. So that is a very nice part about the time frame. So I won't have my afternoons will not be so long. So that part will be good. Half hooked, I don't have a PO box. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to join here with a slip stitch to the very first stitch, and then I'll just slip stitch my way over to the corner, and then I'm going to snip off. I just, guys, I'm not a business. I just do this for fun. I just do my crochet thing, and we do a lot of stitch talk. But yeah, it's just I crochet for charity, and I have a lot of baby blankets I'm working on right now for the NICU. I'm making isolette covers. And as a matter of fact, let's pause here. You guys want to see how the blanket is coming along? The latest one, we worked on this on Monday. I'm to the border now. So before we hop off, I will show you. Um, this yarn is a sweet roll, but let me see if I can get it spread out here so y'all can see. Oops, I keep dropping my yarn. I'm attached. That's why. Uh-oh, my tablet shut off and now I can't see the comments. Let me get you guys back on here. It goes to sleep if I don't pay attention. So here is my latest baby blanket that I'm making. This is going to be an isolette cover. So the isolettes are what's in the NICU. They have those, they're like acrylic, and they're going to be on top of the isolettes, like as a light shield for the babies. But isn't this a pretty colorway? It's called Rock Candy, and I just love the purples and teal. So what I did is I went all the way around with a single crochet. And then last night went all the way around again with a half double crochet. Now I'm to the point where I'm going to do I was playing around with this last night. This is a half double in the third loop. I learned this stitch from Leah's pattern. So I'm going to do that. And then I think I'm going to come back and put a scallop ruffle around it. So I think it'll be really pretty. This stitch that I did for this baby blanket is the crisscrossed double crochets. I learned this from Daisy Farm Crafts. It makes a really pretty baby blanket. It's reversible, so it looks cool on both sides, but you basically do a row of crisscrosses and then you do single crochets. So, that's how I like to do it. What would be a border for a corner to corner? I've done a ruffle border on it, like where you do a scalloped. I usually do a row of single crochets and then I'll do that. Some people don't do a border at all on their corner to corner. I also have done a crab stitch, the reverse single crochet. That's a great option. So lots of possibilities with if you want to do a border on that. But I really like how this is. I'm excited to work on this. I'm probably going to work on this on my lunch today if I get a lunch break and get this one finished up. But I thought you guys would like to see how it came. We worked on this on Tuesday on the live, and I was not nearly as far as I am right now on it. I've made a lot of really good progress. So anyhow, y'all, this pattern I'm doing right here, this is the crisscrossed double crochet with a single crochet row. I learned about this from Daisy Farm Crafts. It's called Baby Kate's Blessing Blanket. Now, typically I will do this in white. However, I'm doing isolette covers with it. And so I'm doing bright, fun colors to have in the NICU so that the babies have kind of some cheerful. I don't know if they can see colors when they're that young, but it'll be fun for the nurses. My sister said I could do any colors that I wanted. So I'm going to be doing a bunch of these. They have I think either 36 or 38 isolettes. So I'm going to be doing a lot of this. This is my fifth one, and then I'm going to get this package sent off to her to do some testing. So anyhow, y'all, happy Halloween tomorrow. I hope you guys all have a wonderful holiday. For those that are going to have kiddos, grandkids, all the things around, it should be a lot of fun. Stay warm. I know a lot of you are getting some weather as I am getting some weather. I hope you all have a great weekend. Again, we'll be back Tuesday at 7:30. I'm not sure what project we'll be working on next week, but stay tuned. I hope to see you all next week. Thank you all so much for all of the taps, the gifts, the follows, all of the love and support. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for making this such a great week once again. Much love. Bye for now.